What's up everybody, my name is Darth Dreswick and welcome back to my channel. Today we're building on the Cottage AMC lot in Windenburg. It's a 20 by 20 lot. I don't think I've ever built on this lot before, so this was a fun thing for me to do. I wanted to build this little cottage because I didn't really enjoy the house that was here before. I probably could have renovated it and added pretty much the same thing, but I like to start from scratch usually. And it's always fun to build houses for pre-existing townies too. This is the Free Spirits household in Windenburg. They live in this like gorgeous little setting here. There's water surrounding the whole build, like a peninsula. It's really gorgeous. There's like a little waterfall and a fishing spot really close to the lot, which can come in handy if you really need some money really quickly. You can just fish and then sell them out of your inventory, which is really convenient. I'm working with some rounded walls today, so some things are going to be a little glitchy. The ceiling tile paint wasn't working in part of the rounded room on the bottom floor. I don't know why. I couldn't get it to work. No matter what I tried, like with any kind of cheats, it just wasn't working. So if you download this build and see that it's missing some roof paint, I'm sorry. I've been doing a lot of get-together builds. Get-together is probably one of my favorite packs in the whole game. It's an expansion pack, and a lot of the build items are just really well made, and I really like them. And I always feel like Tudor-style homes give off a fall vibe, and it's November, so I'm trying to do as many fall builds as I can before I start doing some Christmas stuff. The floor plan surprisingly came together really easily, especially with the rounded walls. I always worry about where I'm going to put beds and like furniture because we don't have like curved beds or curved couches yet. Unless you're using the Dream Home Decorator couch, but that wasn't really the style I was trying to go for in this build. And if you didn't know, Get Together comes with walk-in closets that your Sims can woohoo in. They can also hide in them if they're embarrassed or mortified, but it also completely functions as a normal wardrobe. Your Sims can change their clothes, or you can go into cast using them. So it's just a fun little gameplay feature that I like to put in some of my builds. The only pack that comes with these kinds of closets, I just want to use them a lot. I thought it would be fun to use some of the older looking appliances in this build just because it's an older style of house, and the family that lives here seems like the type of people who would keep a lot of the original furniture. Like one's a painter and one's a writer, so I feel like they would find a lot of inspiration in those things. When I was building this, I originally had a fireplace where the window in the kitchen is, but it just didn't look right there, so I ended up just moving it over to the back side of the build to give it a little bit more shape instead of it just being flat on the back, and also it looked a little bit better in the living room because it just makes more sense. I used this couch from Cottage Living because I love the pink color on it. It's like a dusty rose color almost. And then I added a couple of chairs from University and then a couple of things from Horse Ranch because they're kind of weathered and old looking. I used the TV from the Basement Clutter kit just because I think if we're sticking with the older theme, we should probably put one of those in. We also could have done the debug ones from Eco Lifestyle, but I like the detail of the screen on the one from the Basement Clutter kit because it actually looks like staticky and it's just super nostalgic. Originally, I had a chess table in the bump out, but then I ended up moving it over just a little bit because we had some big empty space in the living room, and then I ended up putting an easel and some art and paintings in that little bump out because one of the Sims that lives here is a painter, so I had to give her a space to do that. I also add in an ottoman that matches the dusty rose color of the Cottage Living couch. It's from Cats and Dogs, I want to say. And then I added a stone wall behind the fireplace, and then for the interior of the rest of the house, I just used a stucco and wood combination that matches the exterior wall. I don't really know what it's called. In game, it's called the Thin Boundaries wallpaper if you're looking for it. And thankfully today I wasn't having the glitch with the stair railings where they just disappear even though they're on there, which is great because I've been having that glitch a lot lately and it really sucks because it makes your builds look really bad. I also added a second fireplace upstairs because I didn't put a thermostat and I wasn't sure if your Sims would get cold and have to come all the way downstairs to warm up. if you have seasons, so it's just there if you need it. So we're moving on to the bedrooms and the upstairs hallway, so I figured this was the perfect time to tell you guys about the Sims that live here. So it's the Free Spirits household in Windenburg. So first we have Makey Haas. She has the bookworm, snob, and creative traits. She has the best-selling author aspiration, which gives her the muser bonus trait, and she's level 2 in the writing career as a blogger. She's a Sim with a light brown hair that I'm currently playing, the one with the plumb bob above her head, if you can kind of see her in the background there with the purple shirt. And then we have her friend and roommate, Ulrich Fraust. She has the painter extraordinaire aspiration, which gives her the muser bonus trait. She's an art lover, creative, a perfectionist, and she's level 2 in the painting career. After I finished building this house, I actually went into Cass and gave them both a makeover because they didn't have proper hot or cold weather outfits. So when I get to the playtesting portion of the build, they'll look a little bit different than they do now. I tried to use as much get-together stuff for them as possible, but I feel like I used maybe 10 packs on them total. You can find them on the gallery at Darth_Jeswick along with this build. I really wanted to have the couch facing out the windows, but it just felt like too big in that corner. So I rearranged the whole living room and added a couple more stools, made it feel way more open. For both of the bathrooms, I try to keep it pretty simple. They're very much the same. They got the same sinks and the same toilet. I had to tape this over 2 days because I was just like getting frustrated because I didn't know what I wanted to put in here. And that was more of a personal problem. I was kind of having like a creativity block and my brain just could not think about Sims building at that moment. So I had to like shut my game off and come back to it. I was also trying to make this like a budget build, but it just wasn't happening. I had to add like 10,000 more simoleons in order to get this build finished, and it still feels like really empty and unfinished to me. Like I didn't really add a ton of wall decorations, so it just feels like kind of boring to me. But this build ended up being like over 60,000 simoleons, and for how small of a lot this is, that's just ridiculous. But it's kind of my fault because I used like really expensive appliances. I think the refrigerator and the stove alone are like 4,000 or 5,000 simoleons each, so that really didn't help me afford decorations at all. I also used a bunch of really expensive decorations for the painter career, and that's kind of where all my budget went. But hey, there's a painter in the house. You can paint more decorations for yourself and add them to the walls if you wanted to. I used a lot of cats and dogs in this build as well. Unfortunately, they didn't have a cat or dog, so I didn't give them any of those items, but you could always adopt if you wanted to. And see, this is where I'm cheating for money because I only had like 70 simoleons left and it still looked barren down here. I also added this little photo gallery wall. I think it's pretty cool. It's from base game and it's probably one of the most used paintings that I have from the base game. Like I've put it in a ton of my builds recently, but I can't help it because it's one of the better base game pictures. I figured since there weren't any like children living here, it'd be more realistic to have a dining room rug. Mostly because if I had a dining room table, I'd want a rug underneath of it just because my feet get cold and I don't wear shoes in my house, so I always like wear socks, and just having a rug under my feet feels a lot better. I also had to turn on a couple of cheats to get the painting objects from the career rewards. The bb.ignore gameplay entitlement cheat. It's a really long mouthful, but if you want to use it, it's there. You get a bunch of rewards that you didn't have access to and like trophies. And for the final touch, I just added a rug from City Living that's got like paint swatched all over it. And then I realized we didn't have a sink in the kitchen, so I kind of had to rearrange some stuff in there. And it looks a little odd because I didn't put any walls next to the stairs, so there's like a little bump out where the drywall starts. But because of the glitch with the stair railings right now, I didn't want to put a wall there. And then I started moving out to the outside. We've got some couple wicker baskets out there and doing some of my last minute cluttering because I didn't put any clutter in the kitchen, I realized. And for the landscaping, I just kept it pretty simple using some low-lying pale flowers like I usually do. And we also got a fire pit with Get Together, so I put one of those outside, along with a couple of gardening pots so that your Sims can grow some flowers or vegetables, whatever they want to. I typically layer my landscaping using the Garden Bedlam dirt and some rocks or other dirt or sand just to blend it in with the surrounding landscaping a little bit better. We got a couple of different mailboxes from Growing Together, this stone one and then a more modern looking one. And because we're doing a more rustic style build, I went with the stone one. And I know this is gonna sound weird, but we got a really cool trash can from Get Together. It's made out of wood and it comes in a bunch of different colors. And I just like that it doesn't look like a super ugly trash can like the normal base game one. and then I put some terrain paint around all of the trees, and then I added a patio table in the front yard. I just thought it looked really empty over here, and I had about 800 simoleons left at this point, so I wanted to use up that. And I don't know why I didn't put more decorations in. I'm just like, oh, a patio table would be nice. Like, not really even thinking, because I was just like, oh, I want to put something right here in the space, and I thought a patio table would look nice. We're actually getting to the end of today's speed build. I'm just doing some final landscaping here, but I just want to thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button because it really helps out. I try to post a couple videos a week, whether it's gameplay or speed builds, although I don't really have a schedule, so you might want to subscribe down below so that you can see all those new videos whenever they come out. I hope you all have an amazing day wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you all in the next video. Dag dag!